How is everybody today? My name is Matthew Sarley, and I'm a student here at the University of Tampa, and I'm here to talk to you today about a very big problem, socks. So by a show of hands, how many of you have had an issue where, I know this might happen at school a lot, where your socks get stuck in the door and they end up getting soaking wet and not really cleaned? Or they get stuck in your clothes and you can't find your socks until the next day when you're wearing your favorite pair of pants and they pop out in the hallway? Or you lose them all together and they end up in a giant bin of mixed match socks on the side. These are all problems that I've had, so I've looked to combat this issue by creating a product called the Sock Sack. The Sock Sack is a sack made of breathable, washable material that you can put your socks in and wash them with any other loads of clothes, but the sack is going to prevent the socks from disappearing, moving all over the place, or getting stuck in the door where they're not going to get cleaned or disappear. So, judges, today I'm asking for you to either provide me with some beneficial ideas, investments, or feedback to help me launch my product and put socks on your feet. Thank you.
And, for the future, I didn't think of this, but write your name up for the judges. So I know you said your name, but it might be helpful, I think, each one of you, when you go up, just to write your name so they know. Or your business name. Sarah.
Quick question. And this is actually for you, Dr. White. Are we doing social or investor pitches?
They are doing, they're doing pitching for something, either resources or money,
Okay.
time, talent, or treasure.
So a partner investor.
Time, talent, or treasure,
Okay,
yes.
great. Good with an instant chuckle at the beginning. I noticed you're not wearing any socks, so I'm assuming this is a real and present issue in your life. So start out was great. Your solution was clear. And your call to action, I really don't know what you want from me.
I guess I kind of did it. I didn't know how to really close it.
Mhm.
So I was figuring out like a while to try how to like close it. So I kind of just ended up signing up for a bunch of artists here that kind of saying, you have plug in some ideas, this is what investment, and then we kind of launched the product.
So my advice to you is to pick one.
So either just say like investment or just
Yeah. If you make it too broad, and then I'm like, well, I don't really have any ideas. I don't have, it leaves me feeling just as unsure as you do. Pick one, and if that one doesn't land, try another one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that you need to articulate your words a little bit better at the beginning. There was, when you first said sock sack, I couldn't understand what you said. I was a little confused. I then got it after the fact. I thought you presented a real world problem, which was very good. The initial hook was very good, but I agree with my other judge here that at the end, when you're asking for your offering, or you're presenting your offering, you're asking what you need to be very clear about that.
Okay, thank you. Use that black one if you don't mind up there. It's a little easier to read.
I'm assuming you're the only mic in the room?
Yep.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Mike, and my product is the Doggy Do-It-All. The Doggy Do-It-All is a dog leash. It's similar to the traditional expandable dog leash, but it has a couple of key new features. It's a very simple idea, yet it is going to be very impactful in the market. Starting with the first feature is a flashlight. It's a built-in flashlight inside of the leash, and it can be very helpful when a dog owner takes their dog out for a walk in the middle of the night. Those leashes can get up to 30 feet, and sometimes it can be very difficult for them to find where they went to the bathroom. So a simple solution is a flashlight. They could easily find it, and no longer can they have the excuse of, I couldn't find it, so I'm not going to pick it up. And speaking of excuses, oh man, I forgot a bag. I guess I'm just going to have to leave it on my next door neighbor's front lawn. No, that's wrong and inappropriate. So to solve that problem, the Doggy Do-It-All has a built-in garbage bag disposal built into the bottom of the dog leash. These are two key new simple features that can innovate the dog leash into something special. As far as competition goes, there are a few products that are similar to this idea, specifically just the flashlight. But it looks like it's just duct tape on top. It's very bulky and unprofessional looking. So I think with the help of a design team, that's why I'm here. I'm looking for a design team to help me build a product that can be sustainable and beneficial to everyone in the dog leash industry. Thank you.
Okay, Mike, thank you. I would say to start, I would tell a story. A lot of people have these problems, and you can relate to a lot of people by initially telling a story. Hey, you know, last night I was out, my dog got hit by a car, and it left its poop on the neighbor's driveway. So something like that, where
That was
everybody
something I wasn't sure about if I should like even say poop in my speech.
but you want to be able to relate to everybody. So I would say that. The other thing is you brought up competitors without us even asking. So why bring up competitors initially, immediately in the first pitch when we haven't even asked you about them yet?
Just as a starting point, I don't know. I saw it and I thought, with everything, there's a problem. And although they had an alternative solution, it was an awful one. And most pitches aren't brand new ideas. They're just building off of other ideas. And I think with the design team, I could build a prototype that would be 10 times better than that. So, okay, thank you.
That was strong.
That
should be
was
part
part of my close.
Well, but but phrasing it. So my feedback is that your call to action, asking for a design team to help you build an idea that you have. That's good. It shows team mentality. It shows that you're willing to work with other people. You recognize that you have an idea. You recognize that you need help to bring that idea to life. That also shows humility, even though you know you have a great idea. All of those are really good and appealing. Something that I would include is some kind of stat about how much people spend on their pets.
Mm-hmm.
People spend more on their pets than they do on their children, which means there has great potential. If you can make something that is 10 times better than what's out there, it will sell. So do a little research, figure out one of the statistics about how much people spend obscene amounts of money to make their life easier for the animals that they have and they love. That will be another really great selling point. Two things. I could not understand your name of your product at the beginning. It sounded to me like you were saying doggy doodle.
Doggy Do-It-All.
Do it all. So clearly enunciate that.
Okay.
The doggy do it all.
I kind of laugh in my head every time I say it. So.
Well, it is a little bit of an interesting name, but make sure you clearly enunciate that.
Okay.
And you need more vocal inflection. You obviously have interest and passion about what you've discovered in this idea. So pause, stop, smile, make eye contact.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Testing. Okay. All right. So my name is Jordan Moeller, and I'm going to be pitching to you today a service, hopefully for an investment. My service is called the Master of Disguise. It's a costume company. So how many of you are planning on going to a Halloween party or dressing up for Halloween in a few weeks? Yeah? Okay, I'm sure you've been to a themed event before or somewhere where you need to dress up, and a lot of people don't have the time or maybe the creative ability to come up with a good costume, or maybe they thought of a really good costume idea but don't know how to put it together. And that's where the specialists at Masters of Disguise will come in. We will help you scour the internet to find an awesome costume so that you will win Best Dressed at the Party and that gift card to Red Lobster. So, next time you need to dress up for a theme or you have an ugly Christmas sweater party to attend to in December, just let us know and we will help you be the master of your disguise. Thank you.
Okay. The second part of your opener was way better than your first. When you began looking at your audience and connecting with us, that's where you should start. Now, I recognize you're nervous and you're warming up a little bit, so you throw out, we all do that, we throw out a couple of things that are just getting your nerves out. But my point is that when you got past that part, that was where it got good. So next time, try to start at that point. Run through those warm-up things in your head maybe or something before then. Now, I felt that you really clearly presented the service, and I thought the name was really great. I liked how you worked it in at the end. This is Masters of Disguise. Let us help you be the master of your disguise. That was great. What I didn't understand is how you're helping someone search online as opposed to actually providing costumes. That was not clear to me because I can use Google. So why do I need your service to help me use Google?
I guess some people just don't, like, yeah, you can use Google, but if you don't know what to look for, you just don't have that creative eye to know what you're looking for to piece together a costume. Like, I don't want to get people a package costume.
Ah, okay.
I want to put together a costume that's not on the market for you, something different.
So it's boutique, it's customized, it's unique to you. All right, that was missing in what you said the first time. That would help me recognize value in your service as opposed to me just Googling or searching Amazon for a prepackaged costume. So we help you build a unique costume that no one else will have, and we are your consultants to source all those pieces so that it's something nobody else will have come up with. You need to demonstrate the value that you have so that it's very clear that it's not just we help you search Google for a costume.
Yeah, that's what I have written down here too. Costume consultant. So relate it to terms that people understand. You know, if you would have said we're the costume consultants, we are the subject matter experts when it comes to unique and custom costumes, that then would definitely help the audience and the judges relate to your product, because I was confused on the service. I understood the offering. You're going to help me find a better Halloween costume. That's great. I just didn't understand how you're going to take me from A to Z. Is it online? Yes, I knew that. But beyond that, I really, didn't know exactly how you did that. So I would use that as a way to differentiate yourself from the competition by saying exactly what you do.
I think as our next person comes up, that was another example. There's a lot of money, I'm sure, spent on costumes. And that kind of data is easily available to add to your.
Yeah, if you start with,
Who's next? Come on.
well, the next person's coming up. If
Come on,
you
Dan.
start with something like, instead of your I'm nervous warm-up, something like, people spend X millions of dollars every holiday season on costumes. Here's how I make your costume kick ass and not look like anybody else's.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck. That's okay. That's why we're here. No worries. It's all good.
Good morning. Judges, thank you for being here. My name's Dan. You know the problem with headphones is they're either in the way, get damaged, or they get tangled really easily. My product solves that. With the Easy Rewind, your headphones go from being tangled, damaged, and in the way to perfectly organized every time. The headphone industry is a $10 billion a year industry. We can capture that industry by just adding this one standalone piece to each pair of headphones. This accessory will be freestanding. You can add it to any set of headphones and use it, mix and match your pair of headphones. So for tomorrow you're wearing blue headphones, you can put them on there. Next day red headphones, they work with every headphone. So what I want to know is who'd like to invest?
Okay, very good, Dan. I would say don't tell me the problem initially. Why don't you engage me and ask me, do you have these problems? I do have those problems with headphones, and then I would easily be able to engage with your presentation much more based off of that. The other thing that I would say is that actually that was pretty good there with everything else. I think that's all that I have.
That's what I like to hear.
Okay, I'm going to be a little harder on you.
Okay, thank you.
I thought that you jumped too quickly, kind of like what he said, straight to explaining the problem. I want to have something that piques my interest or makes me chuckle, or I mean, it doesn't have to be funny. If you're not like a joker, don't try to be.
Okay.
But I want to have something that is relatable first.
Get the hook.
Just that hook.
Okay.
And it can just be one sentence, but I
Okay.
didn't get that.
Okay.
The problem was clear, the solution was clear, and then I felt like you jumped straight into now I want your money way
Right.
too fast. So I need to know if you're asking for investors, I need to know what's the benefit for me.
Right.
If I'm your buyer, then I want to know what's in the benefit.
Right.
What's the benefit for me? You clearly outlined the benefit for the person who buys this product.
Right.
But you did not clearly outline the benefit for the person who invests in this product. So I found if I were an investor and I heard that pitch, I would be like, okay, wait a second.
How am I
What
getting
is
my
that
money
going to,
back?
how am I, well, not even just long statistics and massive numbers on how do I get my money back, but where is this industry projected to grow? How is this going to be good for my reputation and my business? What will I potentially also be able to be involved with if I invest in this? Something, not all of those, but
Right.
at least one of those that makes me feel like this would be a good fit for me
Okay.
and that I want to work with you.
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you.
You know, I would just add, you only took 45 seconds, so you still have a lot of time left.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Well, it's scary down here.
We bite.
All right, good. I do too. Just kidding. Yeah, so I have a service like Jordan's as well. All right, as you guys know, dogs have a sense of smell that is 10,000 times greater than that of a human's. This is why they are used by local and federal law enforcement to track humans, sniff out illegal drugs, detect explosives, and even sniff out electronic devices such as computer hard drives. What you probably didn't know is that a recent independent survey that was conducted across the nation found a significant lack of funding for these canine units. This has resulted in diminished response times and a disorganized performance from these teams. This burden that's been placed on these teams has allowed criminals to get away with crimes that they would not normally have gotten away with and puts innocent civilians like you guys at risk for something much greater. My name is Anthony Paps, and I'm a certified EMT with experience in physical security and counterterrorism security consulting. I'm going to solve this problem by starting a canine security company that's focusing on the mitigation of the threats and vulnerabilities found at ports, airports, malls, and other critical infrastructures that aren't constantly patrolled by canine services. This will reduce the stress put on local law enforcement so they can focus on doing their jobs and can focus on enforcing the laws, while my client receives a dedicated and reliable canine team that focuses on the client's individual needs and wants. I'm focused on reducing crime, preventing emergencies, and the well-being of my most important asset, my dogs. Today, I'm asking you to help me raise capital so this world will become a safer place for you and your family. Thank you. Yeah. I cut some of that stuff out last minute.
Right, just screeching up to that hard stop. Is it my turn? Okay. Anthony, that was good.
Thank you.
It's obvious that you have clarity on what you're offering and on the niche that needs to be filled and why. And your real world experience shows. You need to use stupider language.
Stupid. All right. So like dumb it down a little bit.
You need to speak to the person in the room who does not understand words like mitigate.
All right.
Now, I understand what you were talking about,
Right.
and many other people would too. But what you don't want to do is make someone who's listening to your pitch feel that they are beneath your service
Right.
by using words that could just be substituted with simpler words.
Okay.
So, what was that line? Give me that line back.
I want to start a private sector K-9 security company that focuses on the mitigation of the threats and vulnerabilities at ports, airports,
Okay,
malls.
mitigation of the threats and vulnerabilities
Alright.
that works to make ports safer.
Right. Easy.
Says the same thing.
Right.
There's two reasons. One, because you don't want to feel, don't want to make people that you're talking to feel in any way like you might be speaking down to them.
Right.
And two, because it's just a heck of a lot easier to understand you when you're talking.
Right. Okay.
So you speak very clearly, but you will seem to speak even more clearly if you use shorter words.
All right.
Unless you're pitching to law enforcement or the FBI or people who eat, sleep, and breathe that kind of jargon, and then you need to speak in their world, and that's when you use that. So you kind of need two pitches. You need your everyday person pitch, and then you need your I'm on your level law enforcement pitch.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. The first thing that I would say is, why are you comparing your service even before you started the pitch? So you said before you even started, I'm presenting a service like someone in there. Then I'm automatically thinking about their pitch and not yours. So no need to say that. Just go into your pitch immediately. Very strong, like the data a lot at the beginning. The one thing that I was a bit confused about is, how do you do this? Do you train the dogs? Do you buy the dogs? How do they end up at the port with me? How am I going to use them? That type of thing. So I would go into a little bit of, cut out a bit from the beginning, and then add a little bit about exactly how you do that. So whether that's training, whether that's a police dog academy, whatever that would be,
Okay.
I would go into a little bit about that.
Right. All right. Thank you.
The one thing I'll say that you did that I haven't seen anybody else do is you established your credibility about why we should believe you. And regardless of what you're pitching, we got to know why we should believe you and believe in you. So good job on that.
Thanks, Dr. White. Peace.
Next.
Is that the MC business? Is that
Well, hello. My name is Luis Ruenes, and I'm not here to pitch a new product. I'm not here to pitch a new business idea. I'm actually here to pitch a business that I've worked on already with my cousin in Miami. And I don't know if you're aware of what the concept of overstock is, the term overstock. It's basically products that are not in great shape or they don't meet the standards of Costco and BJ's and other whole stores. They basically auction them for $1,000 a pallet when they are actually worth $20,000 in merchandise at the actual price. And here there's not many people who are willing to pay for those products, but back in my country, I'm from Venezuela, South America, there's people who actually would kill to pay for products with maybe a scratch or broken bugs, which are perfectly working, for a fraction of the price. So I'm just asking for money for investment in order to buy enough pallets to actually fill out a store and uh, create the business.
Question, Luis. What was the word that you used to describe this offering?
It's called Overstock.
Overstock. So I've heard a word, cosmetic blemish. Does that ring? Is that the same type of thing? So it's if there's something wrong with the product that is cosmetic,
Okay, yeah.
and then they cut the price a quarter of the way or half the way.
Yeah, but actually these products, they don't reach Costco. They don't reach the shelves. Maybe because the box is where it goes all the way from tools, hardware to food. So if the box is broken or maybe scratched or something, Costco doesn't want that image in their.
So I would say that I would start the pitch by giving your offering of exactly what it is. You know, I was a bit confused about what you were offering until you got to the secondary part of your pitch. Also, you mentioned that you are in business with your cousin in Miami. What have you guys done up to this point? What does that business look like?
Well, the business was exactly what we're planning to do in Venezuela, but the thing is, we started the business in Miami. We actually got a warehouse and we filled it up with these products. But the thing is, I don't live in Miami. I live here, and it's not easy for me to go back there a lot. And my cousin lives in Venezuela, so we only had a manager, and it's really hard to control the business. So we had to close it down because we didn't have the time to actually work on the business.
So tell that story and then say what we're looking for is the investment to move to Miami and continue
No,
on
from
this
Miami
business.
to South America.
From Miami,
But
whatever
this
would
is-
be.
I only had 90 seconds.
I understand. You can tell the story in less than 90 seconds pretty easily. Yeah. So I would articulate the story a little better as well as the offering at the beginning.
Okay, Dr. White knows that content is also very important, but one of the things that I always talk about is delivery. And each time that I've been involved with doing these, delivery is a really big thing. I've traveled a lot, and I've lived in other countries, and I can understand your accent, but the average American would have great difficulty. So that is zero impact on whether an accent is good or not or whatever. This is just a fact. If you're speaking to Americans who are not used to listening to people from other countries, Americans unfortunately don't typically speak a lot of other languages, and we have really bad ears for accents. So the way to help that is to speak a little more slowly, smile, make eye contact.
I can probably practice a little more, yeah.
Yeah, and see how you are right now, minus the arms crossed part, but when you're looking at me and you're smiling, you have a charisma that makes up for me needing to over-listen a little bit to understand what you're saying. So if you look a little bit bored with what you're saying, or you're concentrating so much on your words that you lose that charisma, it makes it even harder to listen. But one of the ways you can make it much easier on your audience is, so you have an accent. You know you have an accent. Deal with that. Make it a strength. Turn on some charm. So you also started in the beginning, Saxon touched on this, kind of like, I felt like diminishing yourself. I don't have a product or a service. I actually used to do this, and now I'm trying to do it again. I don't need to hear all of that. I have experience in providing overstock, not overstuck, overstock products to a market that wants them. I've done this in the past, and now I am looking for an investor to help me do it in X country, in X place, and this is what I'm moving forward. So it doesn't matter to me that you did it and you're not doing it anymore, or your cousin moved, or you can't get to Miami. Irrelevant. You've done it. You have experience. This is your plan. Keep it positive. You need a little more clarity in your solution. And I would open with how you know from personal experience how eager people are in other countries, like where you come from, to get their hands on amazing products that might be considered substandard here simply because they have a blemish. And you are here to fill that and get those people the products that they can't wait to spend money on.
Thank you.
Good morning. So, how many people out here know someone who use makeup or actually use makeup themselves? All right. So, did you know that women are supposed to clean their makeup brushes at least once a week? About 100% of the people I know also do not clean their makeup brushes. But there's a major problem with this. Your makeup brushes can harbor nasty bacteria, which can cause infections on your face. It can also cause different types of diseases. So they can also harbor E. coli, they can hold MRSA, and that can be bad for your face as well as using the brushes around your eyes. So you definitely want to make sure that you're cleaning your brushes. So the product that I have is an actual makeup brush cleaning machine that cleans and dries your brushes all in the same machine. You'll also be able to store your brushes in the machine once you finish using them so that they're kept in a clean, dry, cool space. So my question to you is, how would you like to make cleaning your brushes easy?
Yes, thank you. Sorry. Start with your second question. Everybody knows somebody who uses makeup. So that's a throwaway. That just takes up time. But not everybody knows that they should be cleaning their makeup brushes that often. So I would start with, everybody knows somebody who uses makeup, but did you know that you should be cleaning your makeup brushes every 2 weeks, every week? Every week. Here's why. If you don't, So you can tighten that up, and you can move straight into that so that you have a lot more time to develop the solution and talk about what you have to give. Just a side note, it's pronounced MRSA, not Mercer. If you happen to have a medical person in your audience, they'll notice something like that. So MRSA is pronounced MRSA. But yeah, MRSA is scary, scary stuff. I don't want that in my eyes or my makeup brushes. So I would want to know more about how your product cleans, preserves, and dries my makeup brushes. You know the biggest reason why I don't wash my makeup brushes every week? Because it takes 3 days for them to dry out. And that means I either need a second set of makeup brushes or a better solution. Tell me what that solution would be in your pitch. And the last thing is you need a stronger, everybody, once you've done that, once you've explained all of it, you had a compelling reason, everybody's going to want to make that easier. Tell me how it's easier, and then you need a clearer question for the call to action, something that I can actually do, not something I want, but something I can do.
I'm actually an expert in this field, so it's good to know this. The one thing that I really liked what you had to say. The one thing that I was a bit off about was you said 100% of people that you know. Not a very good stat. You could probably go online and find a stat from the Bureau of Makeup or somebody that says the same thing that you said, but it has someone behind it that's accredited. The other thing is you never said the name of the product. So at the end in the offering, when you were telling us, what it was, I would throw a name in there because that will much better resonate with the audience as well as the judges.
Brush easy?
Brush easy.
Good. Now that's something I can stick in my
Kim
head.
didn't tell you. I bet you didn't know Kim is a makeup artist, and she's a professional, so she didn't tell you that.
No credibility.
I bet
Yeah,
she
you gotta
didn't.
say that.
She didn't tell you that she's already designed this and done an experiment and how it works.
Do you have a prototype?
She didn't tell you that she's doing that, so there was a lot that she didn't include. She had a minute, and you had a minute and a half, and you only used a minute.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I would start, hi, I'm Kim, and I'm a professional makeup artist. I run into the same problem daily with the fact of nobody's cleaning their brushes. And we know why they're not cleaning their brushes, because it takes 3 days for them to dry, which I didn't know, so thank you. It takes 3 days for them to dry.
It's not too humid outside.
And then from there, you could go into your
Good job. It's a strong product.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony. Shout out to the crowd. You know the feeling that you get, frustration, a little, you know the feeling of aggravation and frustration when you walk into a new house? Maybe it's your friend's apartment that you've never been in before, and you're struggling to find the light switch, stumbling around in the dark, not knowing where to go. Wouldn't it just be easier to have a friend direct you directly to the light switch? Well, this is the same feeling that golfers have on the golf course on a day-to-day basis. Being a golfer myself, it's one of the worst things to get up there with a group of your friends on the first tee, hit a tee shot that you think is perfect right down the middle of the fairway, but it ends up going in a creek that you couldn't see on the right side of the fairway, or maybe a group of trees on the far left side down the hill. My name's Max Cools, founder of GoCaddy.com, a solution to every frustrating hole, every blind tee shot, as well as every hidden hazard. GoCaddy.com initially is going to be a website platform that not only gives you discounted tee times, but as well as an option to give you a partner on each hole to help you through shot by shot. GoCaddy is going to partner up with golf courses around your local area, as well as the youth programs associated with each golf course, meaning Junior Golf Association, as well as the First Tee organization. There are over 26 million golfers in the US, so this makes the market size very feasible for the success of GoCaddy.com. And competition is very low in this side of the golf industry, and that's why I'm asking you to help it get kickstarted. Thank you.
Okay, Max, I would get rid of the initial story. I don't think there's any need to talk about stumbling around at a new house. I thought you were going to go into a product that's going to lead me to a light switch. So I would get rid of that initial story. I also would go into more about what the actual caddy or partner does, because I'm still a bit confused on that. So what exactly does it do?
Well, basing it off, I was trying to get it kind of like everyone's relevance on it, because I know not everybody plays golf. Not everyone knows the same, the basis of golf. But
They're not your market then.
Yeah, exactly. But I was trying to, I don't know. Yeah, correct. Sorry. But initially with the caddy, it's just like you see on, if you watch golf, it's someone there that they're not necessarily trying to help you with each shot, but they're just there to calm you down. Here, just if you miss a tee shot, miss left because there's a hidden creek on the right, that type of thing.
Got it. Got it.
So you could describe them almost as an app or something like that.
I have someone you need to meet.
Awesome.
He does this professionally.
Okay.
And do you know Gabriel Aloisi?
Is he out of a certain golf course or?
He does these kind of apps for a lot of golf courses.
Okay.
And he's local to Tampa. I'd be happy to introduce you.
Awesome.
First off, excellent posture and poise. Good delivery. Even when you started, you screwed
Yeah,
up.
sorry,
You
Ben.
said start over again. You still had really, really good projection and delivery, standing tall, making eye contact, looking confident. I can tell when you did. I kind of agree. I know you were trying to make the relevance, like with the whole light switch thing, but I think most educated people can probably, even if I'm not a golfer, but I can understand that it would be really frustrating to not be able to know the first time I played a course or something like that, to not being able to know what's hidden. I would make it a little bit more general. It'll save you some time. You can expand on other things that are key to your pitch.
Okay.
But I can tell you've probably spent a lot of time outside, just the way you carry yourself. You look confident with the subject matter. So that's good. Really excellent with giving the name of your business in the presentation. I loved how you, and I have a big heart for nonprofits and community social awareness. I loved how you tied it into youth programs and ways that your app can make a difference in the community. It's not just helping golfers and people who have time and money for leisure. It's actually also contributing in a positive way. You didn't overemphasize that, but you sneaked it in there enough to tell me that you have some kind of social conscience and you want to do something that's multi-layered.
That was one of the
So-
biggest struggles that I had with it. Because I just thought of it the other day, but most people are like, okay, you have an app, but how are you going to get caddies for it? And initially I thought members' sons. I mean, my dad worked at a golf course and I was there all the time. But I'm out of Rogers Park and they have a first tee organization right there on the tee box. You see them
There you
out there
go.
all the time, so.
Well,
That's how I thought
yeah.
about it.
So ways that you can improve, definitely trimming out some of the extra fat, making sure that, here's a tip. A really good pitch is going to repel as much as it attracts. So if someone isn't into either golfing or making apps, they're not your market. And so if your pitch is too general to try to include everybody and make everybody happy, you will not be attracting the people who can really help you because you are not repelling the people who aren't interested. Make your pitch more targeted, even if it's for a general audience, and the people that you need to connect with will be the ones who walk up to you afterwards and say, I have someone that you need to meet, instead of just getting everybody's interest or being forgettable.
You're right, it is scary. I said it is scary up here. Oh, Brian.
His name is Scary. I'm not sure if we should be or he is.
Hello, my name is Brian Maligno, founder of Logo Lawns. There are over 40.5 million acres of lawns in America, and throughout the year, many of them begin to look not so lively. We are a service-based company whose main goal it is to keep your curb appeal looking absolutely beautiful. Using a process akin to how a landscaper would spray pesticides onto a lawn, our friendly greenscaping crew will come to your house and spray our 100% non-toxic green dye onto your lawn, which won't harm your kids, your pets, and it won't harm the grass itself. Now, you might be asking yourself, what happens during the non-dormant months when my lawn is completely healthy and perfect on its own, it looks beautiful as it is? The answer to that is personalization. We offer the option to put your own specialized message onto the lawn. You could put anything you want, including happy birthday, welcome home, happy holidays. The possibilities are endless. Now, the most incredible part about this is the option to spray your favorite sports team's logos onto the front of the lawn. So picture it's Sunday, you're showing up to your friend's house for a football party, and you see a giant Buccaneers logo on the front of the lawn. That will really get you pumped for the game. So join me and Logo Lawns as we reinvent the term going green.
Okay. I would tell a story. Once again, this is something that relates to everybody. They've had this issue. So I would tell a story where it's happened to you or a neighbor or something where this has been a successful case or they needed this product. At the end, you said, join me. I don't really know what that means. Do you want me to work for you? Do you want me to invest in your company? The one thing that I haven't heard all day, just to mention, is how much money do you want? You know,
I didn't really know we were supposed to be doing that.
well, that's a part of the picture. You know,
okay.
what are you trying to get out of the audience and the judges? So maybe something along the lines of, we're looking to raise $100,000 to be able to start a business here in the southeast region, and we want to scale it from Tampa to Atlanta over the next 6 months. You know, you don't have to get that in depth, but what are you looking for from us? Beyond that, I would have something about the NCAA or the NFL along the lines of, we've been working with the NCAA and the NFL to get the logos passed that we're now allowed to actually put these logos on the grass of some people.
Right, that was in my full pitch, but when I did that, I wasn't making the 90-second stop, so I had to cut that out. I was chopping parts out. That was one of them that didn't make the cut.
So you had
Right, that's in my full pitch. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So what I would do is I would reorder some of what you had. Start with the, hey, when was the last time you went over to a friend's house for a football game or a football party, and when you drove up, their entire front lawn was the Buccaneers logo? Really? That's never happened? Well, with Logo Lawns, it could be. I'm the founder of Logo Lawns, and this is the service we provide. And then, so to me, that's your selling point. Dyeing my yard green when it's dry is not the selling point. Because I'm just like, it took me probably 30 seconds of trying to figure out what the value and the benefit of that was while you kept talking, and then you started talking about being able to put my favorite sports team's logo on my lawn and make a big statement. I'm like, oh, okay, now people would pay for that. So I would swap your value benefit, and I would start with putting your favorite sports team on your lawn, and then when it's not football season and it's summertime and your yard is dry and you get dry patches, we can also fill in the brown patches by painting your lawn green.
Got it.
That to me is your secondary sales, not your primary. So reverse those, and I think you'll get a lot more traction.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now that you just popped in my head, you could have said, I'm a big Alabama fan, but next door there's a big Auburn fan. I'm done with this.
Yeah, true.
Now they go up to the
Yeah.
lawn and they see a big Alabama A in the front.
That's a good idea. True.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. That's a
Tap
good
into the rivalry.
idea. Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. We ready? How's everybody doing? Okay, so the majority of us all in this room have smartphones. We're bombarded day in and day out with notifications from Snapchat, from a text message, Instagram, or a request to play Candy Crush. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a notification that was an opportunity to both do good, help your community, and makes a little money for yourself? I'm looking for a founding team to help with marketing and development for an application called AutoCom. The auto is for vehicular reasons, and com stands for both community and, I'm sorry, I forgot what the second part was. It's community, auto community. So essentially, the way this app works is that it's an on-demand, real-time platform similar to the way that Uber works, and it's a cross between Uber and AAA for roadside assistance. This would be executed peer-to-peer. So say you got out of work late and you have no family in the area and you have a dead battery because you left the light on. You put out a request on your phone. Somebody within a certain mile proximity can come give you a jump for a small reparation, $10, $20, with the option to offer up a reward on that help. Essentially, that's the service, and this model has been replicated. It's been proven to work. There's companies in Miami called Quickie Gigs that connects people with simple household tasks such as gardening, mowing the lawn. And there's also Liquor Run in Melbourne, Florida. They're just replications of the on-demand Uber platform that are specialized for certain niches. Thank you.
Okay, I'm very intrigued by the concept, but you pitched your close way too early.
I what?
You pitched your close way too early. So about a third of the way in, 30 seconds in or so, you said, I'm looking for people to help me with this. And then at the end, you were left with no question, no call to action. So you need to move that down to the bottom. Don't ask what you're here to ask until the end, instead of doing it early at the beginning. I want to know, one, what's your credibility with this? Two, do you have a software background? Are you in automotive engineering? What was the problem or the challenge that gave you this idea in the first place? And what makes you the guy to make it happen?
Okay. Well, obviously situations have arisen in my life where it would have been so convenient if somebody would just take a little time out. Maybe I'll give them $10 or $20 to come give me a jump, give me a boost, bring some gas to my car.
So there was this time, the story that runs in my mind a while back. My sister was like 18 years old. It was snowy. It was Michigan. It was January. She was driving home from a night class, and she had a tire blow out, and she's stuck on the side of the road. No cell phone. This was like before everybody had cell phones. And if she had had this kind of service, she wouldn't have been sitting there hoping that the guy who stopped with his lights flashing was actually a police officer when it's 10:30 at night and she's 18 and it's dark and snowy and something like that. Build the need, the anticipation in your listener. I want to know in your pitch, next time you do it, I would want you to tell me who else is doing this, or is anybody, obviously there's other industries are copying the Uber platform, but is anybody doing this variation of it or not? If it's original, tell me that. I don't know of anyone else who's doing this. And then what's the benefit for the person who comes and jumps my car other than $10? Because I can understand why it'd be really valuable if I'm the girl who needs a battery jumped. I don't know if it's 11 o'clock at night and my phone goes off saying that somebody 3 blocks away needs a battery jumped. I don't know, I'd leave my house to do that for $10. So what's the incentive for the other person who's gonna come help me?
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I think there's a lot of social benefit for the person that's going to help if they've got a busted wheel or whatever it is. If they're going to help them out, there's a lot of social benefit for that. They feel as though they're doing something right, boosting internal morale. So I would talk about that a little bit. The initial story that you gave about trying to make a few extra bucks and being a part of the community, I would flip everything and I would start it by saying, who doesn't love an on-demand service like Uber? And who hasn't been in Michigan at 12 o'clock when their wheel breaks and they're on their way back from class? That's two things that pretty much everybody can relate to, especially in this audience, I'm sure. And then from there, you can go into your offering. And I would continue to go back to things like Uber because people can understand that platform very well. You made mention of 2 other products, one Liquor Run and another one that was in Miami. I don't think that that's necessary really, so stick with Uber. Yeah.
And point out if nobody else is doing this variation of the Uber platform and if this is really original.
Okay. Before I end, I have a question for you guys. There is another app while I was doing research on this, which is similar. It's called Waverly, waver.ly. And the difference, they combine on-demand real-time with roadside assistance, but they link you with professional companies. They don't link you with peers. It's not proximity-based peer-to-peer, and that's the difference.
Then point that out. There's only one other app doing this, and they link you with professionals, not peer-to-peer. So, 2 seconds.
Great, thank you.
Am I good to go? Yeah. So, have you ever been sitting outside at the beach and outdoors on the boat, and you are sitting in hot weather and you go for your drink? And you find out that since your drink has been sitting outside for so long, it is actually warmed up. And you have 3 options: put it on ice, get rid of it, or man up and drink the warm drink. And I'll have you wishing that you had a Coolsy with you. And a Coolsy is something that I would like to take and base off a traditional koozie and incorporate it with either the kind of like internal lining of traditional lunch boxes, and or like incorporate like metal in it for. And basically the product development I'm still kind of like unsure about, but I guess help me help you keep your drink cold. Thank you. Oh no, stay here. It's okay. I laughed out and kept going.
So the first thing is you started with so, and then you went into kind of like, so you need much more conviction. You need to be certain that when I'm out on the boat on a warm day, I need a Coolsy. Because I probably do, but I don't know that.
My whole speech went so much better through my head now.
So I would say the biggest thing for me was more conviction. Make sure that you're sure about your product. Even if you don't know what you want to do for your product roadmap, you don't want to say that, because then it just looks like you're scattered and there's not much focus.
Okay. If you had the people to help you help others keep their drinks cool, could you do what is in your head? Could you do
Yes, I could.
what is in your head?
Yes, I could.
Okay. That's the girl I want to see. We don't need to know that you don't have it all figured out. You wouldn't be pitching for help if you didn't have it all figured out. That's a given. I mean, if you had it all figured out, you would not be pitching for help if you had it all figured out. If you were completely able to do everything without any help, you wouldn't be asking for it. So, you don't have to say that you need help. What you have to settle in your mind, and this can be different for women than it can be for men sometimes, because we think differently. A lot of times for men, if they know they can do something, and other girls in the room, there's not a whole lot of you, so listen. If men know that they are capable of doing something, they tend to present themselves with the confidence as though they've already done it. Women, if we know we are capable of doing something but we haven't done it yet, we second guess ourselves. It's just a fact. Yes, there are different personalities. Maybe some men second guess themselves too. I haven't met very many of them, but women do it all the time. Stop second guessing yourself. If you know that you could do this product, with the right people and the right team, present with that confidence. What I need to believe is that you are capable of doing it if you had the right staff.
All right, how we doing, everyone? I'm Ramsey Murr, and what I'm here to do is I'm here to propose a groundbreaking home automation innovation that will do this. It will centralize command of all of your remotes for all of your domestic entertainment devices onto one platform, that being your smartphone or your tablet. So, we live in a world where our devices can perform multiple functions, like our phones. They could call, they could text, they can do math calculations, okay? It makes sense to have these multi-purpose devices like these, but we don't do them with our remotes. So the larger system you have, the more remotes and the more hassle. So what I'm proposing is pretty identical to what a old friend of mine and I have tried to implement in the past, and that's creating a Bluetooth remote that, like I said, synchronizes command of all your remotes onto one device. Now, here's the big thing. This is basically selling off the factor of convenience. Also, it would feature application integration. So we just need some help developing a new product.
Everybody knows what it feels like to be able to find all 17 remotes except the one you need for what you want to do. Exactly. Start with that. Okay. We are not so far past the generation of having multiple remotes, although in 10 years we might be. And people might not be able to remember that. But right now, everybody can relate to the frustration of not being able to find that one remote you need, and there's like a pile of ones that are useless for whatever you're trying to do. Capitalize on that pain point. Tell a story about when that happened. Ask a question about how you feel when that happens. And now, here I am with the solution so you never have to feel that frustration again. Now, my next question is, so the first one, show, don't tell. I felt like you were just telling me what you're doing. I'm here to propose, okay, why am I interested? Hook me in by something that I can relate to. Second, don't other companies do this? And why is yours different? Well, you don't have to tell me right now, just that's something I didn't pick up. Okay. You said something toward the end about Bluetooth. I thought, oh, well, maybe that's why his is different. But I know that there are other apps I can get on my phone that I can link with things to do things, and most of them need either a software engineer or a 4-year-old to figure them out. I'm not either one, even though I'm pretty techie compared to a lot of people. So tell me how yours is simpler, easier, and better than the other things that say they kind of do the same thing that people are going to be thinking of.
Sarah mentioned this earlier during one presentation about too much jargon, but there was definitely too much jargon at the beginning of your presentation. Alliteration, yeah. I was confused. I mean, I understood. I work in tech, so I understood everything that you said, but somebody that doesn't work in tech and doesn't understand audio and video home systems probably wouldn't understand everything that you said. I would even go as far as getting rid of everything that you started with and start with, we live in a world that, because right when you said that, then everybody can relate to, oh, we live in a world where everybody has a cell phone. The other thing is there's universal remotes that exist today. Your difference is that you're bringing it on the tablet or the phone. So why not say something along the lines of that universal remotes are currently being used, but we also have a piece of technology in our pocket that's just sitting there dead while we're watching TV. Why not bring everything under one platform, one device, where you no longer have to be fishing around with 6 different remotes?
Just one thought as you're making your way back, and the next one's making your way up. You've been gifted with an amazing voice. You can captivate me. No,
Never been told that
not-
before.
I'm not kidding. You could have captivated this room had you planned and practiced and really put it together. You could be an amazing speaker. You didn't do it. It's pretty obvious that you didn't do it this time. But well, it's not. But you have an amazing voice, and I wouldn't throw that away if I were you.
It sounds like surround sound, doesn't it?
Well, and you fumbled too. As you said, most guys are confident. Most girls aren't.
No second guessing. No, seriously, you have a strong voice. This is just same kind of thing as with Luis. He has charm. He just wasn't using it.
Yeah.
Where are you up there? Yeah.
You're not taking advantage of the gifts you have.
You're not putting all the tools in your toolbox to work. So change that.
They used to team up against me.
I didn't know that.
How much attention do people pay to appearance in a college setting? Being fashionable seems to be an essential. Ensuring your nails are looking the absolute best starts right here, right now, here at Florida Fresh. Where even is the closest nail salon to campus? How would one get there? Is there really time to go off campus during that busy school week? Most college students do not want to spend the time, energy, or transportation costs to go off campus to receive this service. Hi, my name is Sarah Daniels, founder of Florida Fresh Nails, the first nail salon located right on campus at the University of Tampa. However, the property nor the building is owned by the actual university. Services at Florida Fresh include basic manicures and pedicures, French manicures and pedicures, gel nails, acrylics, as well as eyebrow waxes. Convenience is the main problem being solved. A majority of UT students come from out of state and even out of the country, and now freshmen aren't even allowed to bring cars to campus, making it nearly impossible to go off campus during the week. As of now, there is only one other college nail salon in the country, and it's proved to be profitable. I conducted a market research study on campus and interviewed 100 different students. Out of these students, 88 of them said they would surely benefit from an on-campus nail salon. Additionally, we were able to conclude the target market would be female students between the ages of 18 and 21. Additionally, there will be a rewards program on campus, so students will be able to have the UT logo applied directly to their nail. I plan on starting Florida Fresh right here at UT and eventually expanding to other schools in the southeast region of the country. So stop in or call to book your appointment today. Here at Florida Fresh, we'll make your nails the absolute best.
That was the best content for a pitch I've heard the whole time. And yeah, I'm trying to think of what to say. Okay, for feedback to improve. You've obviously practiced. You've memorized it. I'm going to take my feedback to you a step higher than what I've been able to give to anyone else, because nobody else has had that much content memorized and that much data to give me in a clear and concise way. So the next level for you is to be able to take those pieces and have them filed away where you can pull them out individually, out of order, in a conversation with people. Because you're already light years ahead of most of the people who stood up here this morning. So I liked how clear you were. I liked how clear your data was, your comparables, your credibility. It was all there. You know what you're talking about. You look the part. I can see you've got your nails done. My first thought was, here's a girl who understands the power of all black in a statement necklace. That's good. So you gotta dress, especially as women. You have to dress for what you're representing. You dress to your brand. If you are representing a fashion brand, there's certain types of things that people will expect in order to believe that you are compatible with your brand, because you are your brand. So that's something, and you know, unfortunately in this world, a lot of times men don't have those restrictions placed upon them unless they're working in a suit and tie world and they're walking around in beachwear, and people are going to be like, I don't get that. So it applies for men and women, but it especially applies for women. And I can tell that you made an effort. But just for the content of your pitch, very good.
Yeah, I agree. Really good. Best I've heard so far today. Sorry, everybody else. You need to slow down a little bit. Just a little bit. You had everything memorized very well. The first 3 points that you made kind of ran together, so I would break up those three with a second in between them. The other thing that I was a little confused about was, is this a truck? Is this a physical location? Is this... Did she? Not owned by the university, yeah, so I have that. The other thing is, why would UT allow this on campus? I don't know if that's something that you know, but... Got it.
She has that problem, I think. So you're taking, what you're saying is the university would not allow it. So you,
Yeah.
well, that's what I mean, though. They would not allow you to put it on their property, so you can put it on the property that is not theirs.
but not on the property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about
You
UT
addressed
is my point, yeah.
Got it. I would explain that briefly, just that they're allowing you to do it, but very good. Very good.
The only thing I would add, too, is that because there may be some way you can make some of that more concise so that you can have more time for the ask. You know, if you know you're dealing on a tight time frame. And the reason 90 seconds might matter is that you can, maybe that's the only amount of time you can get from somebody. So you want to make sure you get to the point of what you need quickly enough. But otherwise, good job, Sue.
Another thought while the next person is coming up. Whoever's next, come on up here.
Ravi, good for you.
You have your content down. Now you need to practice making it natural so that you can smile and pause and engage and chuckle and
You gotta
look at
get this
ease.
in.
And your close was a little bit too much like ad copy.
You gotta move
Make
quickly,
it
so.
to me. Good job.
No, that's okay. Just please get up when this one ends, because we gotta get moving, or we're gonna run out of time. Anytime. Are we ready? Yes. Start.
Hi, my name is Robbie Goldberg, and I represent Sadaka. We provide entrepreneurship coaching to nonprofits. We want to add value, and so until communities see improvement and nonprofits see more income, we don't get paid. Our service is to coach nonprofits to meet community needs and make money at the same time. Similar to Uber, we pair coaches with nonprofits. I've analyzed national surveys, and I've met CFOs and CEOs of local nonprofits, and they're realizing that the government funding is shrinking and that they can't depend on philanthropy to cover their full costs. They know they need to generate new revenue streams, but they don't know how. However, they're looking for help. And with the help of Sadaka, we can empower nonprofits to be able to expand their programs and afford top talent. While most consultants want payment for ideas written on paper, Sadaka works with nonprofits till they see results. And through Sadaka, nonprofits are empowered to be financially sustainable, to scale their impact, and to advance their mission. And if you know any nonprofit interested in earned income strategies, please let me know. Thank you.
It was Sadaka, right? Like the Hebrew word? Yes. So I would say what that means in Hebrew, because that's a pretty cool, which is charity, essentially. So I would say what? I'm Jewish. Yeah.
And it means charity with an emphasis on not giving a handout, but also partnering and doing the best in love and provide for themselves.
That's key.
So start with that right there. That's a great start. And then you can go into, then it is much more relatable because we understand what that word actually means and why you picked it. No, yeah. As Sarah was saying, it informs your whole audience exactly what you're talking about. The other thing is, I didn't love the Uber comparison. I don't understand how that has any connection to ride sharing. I don't think, yeah, just
Yeah, we're kind of short on time, so.
I understand what you were trying to say is because yours is a matching service, correct? You find the consultants, you find the nonprofits, you match them together, kind of like Uber matches drivers with riders. That's the only reference you would need to have. Keep that short. I like that you dressed the part. Take note. You came here for a pitch competition, or at least practice. Dress the part. That's good. That shows me that you took this seriously. I can also tell from your pitch that you took this seriously. I do not believe that that your consultant's not getting paid until there is some level of proof is a selling point, because people don't value what comes free. I spent over 10 years working in the nonprofit sector, and I can tell you from repeated personal experience that the vendor they had to pay $100 grand to, they took a whole lot more seriously than the sometimes far more valuable vendor that never really got around to billing them. So even in the nonprofit sector, people gotta get paid. Even if you have a company culture of we work with you until there is progress, until there is proven improvement, that's great. But I wouldn't tie that to the consultant doesn't get paid until the nonprofit is happy with their improvement, because then the consultant will never get paid. There's always a reason not to be happy with improvement. And that's going to shoot yourself in the foot for your sustainability, for your satisfied consultants, and just the plain old psychological value that people don't appreciate what they get for free. So I wouldn't use that as a selling point. I think you have other selling points that are much better. Cut that out and spend the time explaining Sadaka, S-A-D-A-K-A. Okay, Sadaka. That's cool. And that puts your company culture and purpose right into a nutshell that I can wrap my head around, and it explains everything else that you're trying to do. I'd use that.
Thank you. We need you to. We're recording it.
Oh, we're recording it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought my voice would suffice. So hello. Okay. Cool. The problem nowadays is that people fail to recognize the power of gratitude. Can I restart that? Okay. I'm sorry about that. I started on a high note. I got this? All right. So what if I told you that the problem today is that people fail to recognize that gratitude is powerful? Take it. You guys come back from a networking event, you have about 10 to 15 to 20 business cards in hand, and you're probably telling yourself, yeah, I'm going to follow up with those people. But for some odd reason, it just does not happen. So what if I told you today that a business is being created by putting gratitude and a follow-up system all in one? My name is Kyle, and I am here with Gratitude by showing you that a grateful product, meaningful product, is put together with a message, a meaningful message in a tube. Our service is very simple. We're building a brand and creating a brand, and then that would empower us to partnership with e-commerce, blogs, as well as stores. That would then empower us to sell our products to 20 to 40-year-old business professionals that are under a time constraint. With that being said, they would come into our Grateful Loyalty Program. Now, Sarah and Saxon, you're probably wondering right now, why aren't people just buying these products, these meaningful products, off these stores? The answer is very simple. These people are under a time constraint. Gratitude
is grateful, inexpensive, and memorable. So join me to be grateful to those who deserve it. Thank you. I thought you guys needed an extra mic. Cool.
All right. Good pain point. I have often come home with a stack of business cards, and I like put those right there in front of my computer. I need to get connected with all these people, and then 3 days later, I'm like, oh crap! If I write them now, I'm gonna look like I really didn't stay on top of it. And then 5 days after that, I'm like, yeah, it would be embarrassing to write them now. So yeah, good start with the pain point. Excellent delivery and presentation. I know you've had a lot of practice with this, so like I told you the other day, bring your A game. The passion, enthusiasm, hands down, you've got that. The clarity is good. I did not understand gratitude at first, and if you were pitching formally, I would want you to have that written down somewhere so that I can see it and put it in my head. Once I figured it out, yeah, that was fine. But I spent a few seconds not listening to you trying to figure it out, and that's lost time for you. I'm unclear on what the products are that you would be selling.
Okay.
You told me basically
I can
everything.
briefly address it really quick. Okay.
You told me everything else, how you would sell them. It needs more clarity on why the gratitude helps this. I like the idea. I like the feeling about it, but I was unclear as to the execution and what product you're selling.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have. I was very unclear exactly what you were selling. Everything else was good. Enthusiasm was great. The other thing is you said, for some odd reason, people don't do this. But it's not for some odd reason. It's because we have too much going on or we forget to do it. So I would say 3 things that could be potential variables that would make somebody not follow up.
Awesome. Thank you. I would love to talk to you guys about it later if you have more feedback.
Sorry if my voice cracks. It kind of like have voice, but going ready? From a raise of hands, can I see who here has a savings account? Yeah, just about everyone. Did you know that if you put $1 in today, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it'd actually be worth less? Banking system is not giving you enough returns on your actual money. Inflation is beating out these returns, so you're actually losing value of money by giving them your money. Hello, my name is Kush Patel. I am a research and analyst for a commercial banking firm. I'm here today to show you a crowdfunding type platform. It's actually a crowd investing platform called Real Retirement. So how it works is people or users can buy a small portion of large commercial assets and profit share based on their shares in the company. The American workers need a safe place to put their retirement egg, to have safe and secure returns for their retirement. The benefit of a service such as this is very clear. If you look at the returns from banking from 0.01 to 2%, depending on what kind of account you get, it's not that great. If you look at the S&P over the last 5 years, it's had an average return of 4.9%. It's a lot better, but it's still not great. The average return, no, wow. Man, I had such a killer ending too.
We've heard this a few times today, but too much financial talk. People on a high level are not going to understand what you're talking about. I assume that not even everybody in the crowd knows what the S&P is. So I would probably dumb it down a little bit.
Okay.
Beyond that, the other thing that you said was commercial assets. once again, people are not going to understand what you're talking about. And then you said a few times when you didn't know exactly where you were going with it. Just stop, take a deep breath, and then start with a new thought.
Okay. Did I say any likes? I wanted to avoid that too.
I didn't notice any.
Okay, awesome.
Sometimes the smoothest transition is the most abrupt.
Okay.
So when you need to change direction, don't put filler crap in there.
Okay.
Don't just keep talking. Just start the new sentence. Pause. Start the new sentence. Same thing he said. Simplify your explanation. I'm not a banker, and unless I were a banker or an investment financial manager, I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is I don't want my savings to be worth less in 5 years than it is right now. That's a pain point. Keep it simple. And then how do I move on from there? We have ways of managing your money that are completely legal and reliable that will help you not have your savings diminish over time.
Okay.
Something very simple along those lines. Good for throwing your credibility and title in there. It helped me realize that you aren't just a student. You actually may know what you're talking about. That's good. You can start with an abrupt beginning. Like, raise your hand if you have a savings account.
Okay.
Not
So not ask
so
the question.
who in this room has a savings? Just raise your hand if you have a savings account. Starting like that shows confidence, and you're ready to move directly in, and it gets your pitch rolling quickly.
Okay.
But just, you need to know your pitch better.
Yeah.
All right, hi. My name is AJ Albrecht, and I'm going to talk about a huge problem in my life and a big problem in the lives of most Americans, and that's sunburn. More importantly, skin cancer. According to the American Cancer Society, skin cancer is the most common type of cancer, and it causes 20,000 deaths yearly. And beyond that, there's hundreds of thousands of people who painfully get patches of their skin singed off by lasers. So what do we have to protect ourselves from this? We have sunscreen. The spray-on, which, whenever you put it on, stand 10 feet away from your friends, use 3/4 of the bottle, spraying yourself down, and you inhale some crazy chemicals at the same time. Or you have the lotion, which, you grease up 75% of your body, and you have to have that awkward friend, at least if you're single, to lather into your back. It's become such a hassle that we save it for special occasions like going to the beach or like if we're out golfing or something. And you don't get skin cancer from just one sunburn. It's from everyday exposure to the sun. And that's where my product comes in to help. It's called SPF Soap. And it's a line of bath products that incorporate the active ingredients of sunscreen into your face soap, your shampoo, and your body wash. So you can be protected from everyday exposure to your face, scalp, and shoulders and back. So if you guys would like to be part of a revolutionary and potentially life-saving product, we are looking for investors to start the development of this product. Thank you for your time.
I had to wait a very long time to figure out what your product was.
Mm-hmm.
You need to move that way further up. In fact, you
Okay.
just cut out a lot of the stuff at the beginning.
Okay.
Don't introduce what you're going to tell me. So today I'm going to tell you about this. Just tell me.
Okay.
Tell me what you're going to say. Just like I was telling Kush. The smoothest transition is the most abrupt one. Just start right into it. I was confused because you introduced two problems. Which is the problem? Sunburn or skin cancer? Pick one. Run with it. Make it the foundation of your pitch. You spent way too much time on the opener, which weakened a potentially really strong product. SPF soap? Okay, that's interesting. That's something I've never heard of. Tell me more about that, not just all the stuff at the fluff at the beginning. And if you trim out a lot of the opener fat, you will have room not only to tell me more about SPF soap and why it's super cool, but also exactly what you need. Are you looking for distributors? Are you looking for manufacturers? Are you looking for scientific partners for research and development? What are you looking for? And then give me that as your close, not just if you would like to. Well, no, I'm probably going to go with the guy who says, I need a design team. Will you be my design team? So make it very clear.
This is a product where you really can pull the emotional strings of a lot of people in the audience. So I would really start thinking about, what makes you tick, what makes you think about sunscreen, and what could you put in there to make the rest of the audience think about that as well, because it is an issue for a lot of people. The other thing is your presentation was rather monotone, so I would try to get some more emotion in there. This is something that clearly you're passionate about and you live every day. Make that obvious.
I would start with the fact that I'm a redhead. I sunburn badly. I can't go to the beach without sunscreen. And this is why I invented Suggestivo.
That's essentially why I came up with it.
Okay, then use that.
Tell your story.
You did that in 10 seconds or less. You took 70 seconds to get to your product. I looked
Just
at
did
it.
a little dramatic build.
I thought you did a good job of explaining the product once you got there, but you didn't leave enough time to really dive into where you're getting your customer. Okay.
And everybody can relate to the fact that you're a ginger, so you're gonna sunburn. And it's not. It just own it. This is why I wear sunscreen. I'm not like all y'all Brazilians or whatever out there. They're like baking in the sun. I can't do that. So yeah. And everybody laughed. You do that. You own it. You get a chuckle. Everybody's on the edge of their seat. They're wondering what you've got to fix this problem.
All right, thank you.
Imagine your professor gives you the opportunity for extra credit by having you go to an event the next morning. We've all were there last week, so don't pretend like it never happened. You know you got to look good because there's going to be a lot of important people there that you probably have never met before. So you instantly visualize that one outfit you're about to wear for this event. You wake up that morning and you realize, oh, curse word obviously, that you don't have your outfit you're about to wear because it's wrinkled and it looks terrible. So what do? My name's Austin Julian, and I've worked at a dry cleaners for several years. And my product, the De-Wrinkler, will keep you looking good and take wrinkles out of your clothes within minutes. So I'm here today to gather a team to help me develop my product that will keep you looking good and not have to worry about wrinkles anymore. Because when you look good, you feel good.
First thing, I would hold the mic closer to your mouth when you're talking because you're kind of moving it, so it was like all around. Yeah. The other thing is you left us on a little bit of cliffhanger, but I don't know if it was necessary. You said, "What do you do?" My name is Austin. I would say, "What do?" You use the De-Wrinkler. And then you go into, my name is Austin, and this is what the De-Wrinkler is. You also didn't explain how the product works or any sort of idea. If you're prototype and you don't even know what this looks like yet, I would use more of your expertise saying that I've worked in the dry cleaning business for however many years. This is how they do it, and this is how I plan to subsidize that.
Thank you.
I appreciated you sharing that you had a background in credibility. I thought it was a good illustration of a pain point. I suppose I might have had that problem in college, but I'll be really honest. My thought was be an adult and iron it the night before. What is the problem? But then I had to remember that there was a time when I was in college and I'd wake up the next morning and be like, oh man, I forgot to iron that. So I suppose that still happens to people. I want to know how the product's applied. Okay. And is it not toxic? Dry cleaning chemicals are toxic. Really toxic, and they take professionals to apply it. So if your product is so stinking awesome that I don't have to take my clothes to the dry cleaners anymore, I want to know, one, how is it safe to use, and two, is it spray on, is it roll on, do I have to iron it? How is this going to save me time? The pain point was good. You were concise and clear in most of everything else, but the application and execution, and if you don't know, that's fine. Say, I am working on a prototype that will enable XYZ result. And I'm looking for a design team to help me do that. Great. Own it.
All right. Raise your hand if you drive to campus. All right. If you do so, you probably have had or heard this scenario. You wake up in the morning, you come to school, your first destination is the Thomas parking garage. You lube up the parking lot, but you don't find a spot. So you end up with two options. You either drive to the other garage, or you park in any available space and get that $35 ticket, right? My name is Abdul Harabi, and I believe that the time of driving in lubes, desperately seeking a spot, should end. Spot Valet is an application, a system that would sense the available parking lot, the available parking spot, and will also allow you to reserve them if urgent. So let's not waste a single minute on something that is not worth wasting time for. Thank you.
Okay. Same advice I've had some of the others with English as a second language. Or maybe it's your third or fourth, or you're just a really smart genius. I don't know. I'm jealous of all of the individuals who speak multiple fluent languages. The word you're trying to use is loop, not lube. Those indicate very different potential meanings. So you're talking about cars and parking garages. I'm thinking maybe when I thought you said lube, I thought maybe you're talking about a mechanical engine product that makes your engine run smoother. I really don't know. And then I had to realize, which means I lost several seconds of your presentation trying to figure out what you were talking about. So the word is loop. It's a cool product name. What was it again? Spot Valet or ballet? Okay, well then there's another accent thing. I heard ballet. And I was thinking, well, that is kind of like a dance with people trying to get into the parking lots. So, okay, spot valet makes a lot more sense. Again, watch the accent. I am not sure how on earth I would reserve a parking spot in a way that would prevent someone else from pulling into it.
There's going to be like
Okay, so without explanation, understand.
You had a whole 30 seconds.
So you were very concise. Obviously, you were too concise. I need to know how this would be executed, because my first thought is, and how exactly do you plan to keep another car from parking in a spot just because I reserved it on an app? So that's a big vacuum. Okay, good. And there was no call to action at the end? You kind of buried it maybe a little bit earlier, but I don't know what you're looking for. So you need to clarify that. And you had that 30 seconds to answer both of those questions.
I would keep your example a little more broad. You used the University of Tampa coming here to school. I didn't go to school here. I have no idea what this parking garage is that you're talking about. I would do something along the lines of, you're on your way to a sporting event, you're on your way to a concert, you're running late, the mall, whatever it is, you're running late, and you know that it's going to be packed. So we've all been there. What do? You go on Spot Valet, you get your spot, and you no longer have to worry about it.
How many of you guys know someone who uses makeup? And how many of you guys like actually know these people to clean their brushes every day or after every usage? According to the Huffington Post, 39% of women clean their brushes once every month, and 22% actually never clean it. And the reason for that problem is lack of time. Some people have jobs, some people have kids, and some have both. And the real issue is that it's a hazard to your health. Today I'm here to present my new, a co-founder of a new product called Brush Easy. It's a beautiful machine that allows you to put up 10 brushes into the machine and cleans them. The difference between that and our competitors is that we clean and dry and organize your brushes. We're looking for a $3,000 donation or investment into a product for a prototype to be done. Thank you.
So we learned something from the first pitch. Really good quote. Huffington Post, that's good. So you have the accreditation and the reputability right off the bat. There's more than just jobs and kids that take up our time. I have a job, but I don't have kids, and I don't have time to clean my makeup brushes for other reasons. The final thing is you said, I want to present the co-founder. Well, you're the co-founder, and you want to present the product. So that was just a little language piece there that I would try to clean up.
I understood your pitch because I heard, who's your co-founder? Kim, yes, sorry. I forgot your name. It's been a lot of names this morning. I heard hers first, and because I heard hers first, it filled in the gaps. But if I had heard yours right now for the first time, I would have had a lot more questions. So kudos to taking her pitch, taking the feedback, putting some of that stuff in, and coming down with the name of the product, the stat from Huffington Post, contrast with the competition, and telling me, I noticed you specifically address the fact that it dries and organizes multiple brushes. Those are really good. But there's a lot of stuff she said that would have needed to be answered if I hadn't heard both pitches this morning. So I still don't know what your credibility is. She's a professional makeup artist. Why are you interested in makeup? I would need to know that. Why is this guy telling me about my makeup brushes and he doesn't seem to look like he's a professional makeup artist or whatever? So you need to fill in some of those gaps. What you guys need to do is take what she did in her pitch and what you've done in your pitch and create a whole pitch with the parts and pieces that you both had.
Yeah, I think we're playing your strength if you two pitch together.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Trent Lott, and wait, sorry. Let me start. Hello, my name is Trent Lott. Thank y'all for coming out and hearing me speak. Now, everyone has troubles, has known someone with moving and junk removal. We've all had problems, like my friend this summer who is moving to China, and the people she hired broke thousands of dollars worth of china. Terrible experience. What I have done, I have found a solution by franchising out with College Hunks Hauling Junk and Moving, and I'll be working on the I-75 corridor as well as all of Polk County. The solution that I found is that we will be in Plant City in a central location. That way we can bring the professionalism to everywhere, as well as get everywhere quickly and reduce drive time. I just completely busted that. My bad.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for marketing and also some networking help so I can get everywhere as quickly as possible with my guerrilla marketing and connections with retirement homes.
So your target market is retirement homes? Elderly people who need help moving.
Yes. Well, that's one of the areas I wanted to get into first and expand.
You started out interesting, and then, I mean, you kind of lost some of the meat in the middle there. Just a curiosity question: was your friend moving China, and the movers broke a lot of China, or was she moving to China, and the movers broke a lot of her China?
She was moving a lot of China, like China.
Okay,
China
she was moving
pots.
fragile items, and they broke a lot of her China.
Yeah, she was using people that weren't complete professionals, and
Okay.
that caused them to pack it badly, and that made the products
Gotcha.
break when they moved.
Right. So, unprofessional work or workers, people who don't have experience with moving, means you're going to end up with less stuff than you had when you started, when you unpack, and that sucks. Okay, so I think you need to niche down. Don't talk to me right now about expanding. You want to help elderly people move professionally. There's a lot of elderly people in this area. Moving is a hassle and a headache. It's terrifying for older people who know they can't lift everything, they can't haul everything, and they have a lot of sentimental value placed on their possessions. You respect that sentimental value, you take excellent care of the things that they treasure, and you take all the pressure and the stress out of their moving experience. Don't tell me about all the ways you're going to expand. Tell me how you're going to very, very well serve elderly individuals who are forced to move. It's already a stressful situation, and you're going to give them peace of mind.
Yeah, I never heard a solution. So you went into how you were partnering with college hunks and then retirement homes, but I never heard what you actually do. So before you say we're going to partner with college hunks, you need to say what you guys do, and then you could potentially talk about your growth plans. But I agree completely with Sarah. I think that you really need to nail down your value prop before anything, because I didn't hear a value proposition in there at all. And then the other thing is China and China didn't make sense. And then you started by saying, I want to thank you for hearing me speak. But you're not giving me a speech. I'm not hearing you speak. You're pitching us, so you don't need to say any of that.
Yeah, I kind of lost it there really quick.